Hi guys, it's Beth. Welcome back to my channel. Today it is the first Saturday of January, so I get to share with you my goals, progress for the month of December, and then I am going to kind of wrap up 2020, like my goals and progress for you as well. There is a whole list of goal collaborators that will be listed in the description box below, so after you've watched my video, please check out their goal progress as well. And this is part of the Crafty Goals with Amalia collaboration, and Amalia is Cool Cakes and Crafts with Amalia here on YouTube. So at the beginning of the year, I set a bunch of crafty goals for myself and have been sharing those goals and my progress with you throughout the year. My first goal, I'll kind of give you a quick rundown of my December progress, and then we'll kind of talk about the year in total. But my first goal was to use up at least one paper pad or collection each month, and in December I used two. I finished off the classic vintage pad that I started in November, and then I used up, it was the Echo Park Have Faith pad, 6x6, that I finished off for the Smash That Small paper collab that I am in. Goal number 2 was to use up at least one embellishment, and that is like very loose. That can just mean any non-sticker embellishment in my stash. And I did use 4 this month. And then I'm going to jump down to goal number 5, which is to use up at least one sticker sheet. And I did use 8 this month. So this is a collection of what all I've used this month. This was a little tube of glitter, which my daughters and I finished off. We made some magic reindeer food in December, and so I counted that as an embellishment. Finished that off. These were some little shaker bubbles that I finished off. They were like birthday themed. These were like layered dimensional stickers, epoxy stickers, so I counted those as embellishments. And then these were all of the like regular sticker sheets that I used up. So there were 8 of those, and a lot of those were, well, I take that back. Some were partial, some were pretty full, some were full. So, but still a good use it up month for me. Goal number 3, is to complete at least 5 personal scrapbook pages. And at the beginning of the year, I determined to finish scrapbooking all of my 2012 pictures and all of my 2013 pictures. I'm 7 to 8 years behind, which is pretty sad. But back in June, I believe it was, I did finish off, June or July, I finished off 2012, and I thought, great, so I have another 6 months that I can finish 2013. Well, I did 30 scrapbook pages in December, and still didn't finish. I make, as most of you know, I make pages for myself and then both of my daughters' albums. So there are times where I make 3 different layouts or 3 different spreads. I do try to keep them as similar as possible just to make it easier on myself, but that does take some extra time. And so I made 30 pages, and I am through April. Now, there are some other parts of 2013 that are already done because it fit in with another pad or project that I was doing, but there's still a good amount of 2013 that I am going to have to roll over and try and finish in 2021. So my goal for 2021 will be to finish 2013 and 2014. I'm going to do it. Goal number 4 was to make at least 10 Christmas cards each month, and that's just because I was part of the 10 on the 10th card collab, and I did make 17 in December. Goal number 6, jumping down, is to clean my craft studio at least once each month, and I did do that. Goal number 7 is to use one upcycle item from my stash, and I didn't check that off, so I don't know that I did use any. I may have used a Post-it pad or something, but I just forgot to check that one off. But that is just to use up things that I've collected over time that I can either upcycle or turn into something else, or like notepads, pencils, things that I can put into like little crafty packs that I would make. Goal number 8 was to figure out how to organize my daughter's crafting supplies, and I did that. I completed that back in March. Goal number 9 was to finish crafting 2012 and 13 pictures by the end of this year, and I didn't make that one. Goal number 10 was to work on developing kits to help kind of use up my paper supplies without actually having to use them. And so I did that several times throughout the year, but I didn't do any of that necessarily in December. Goal number 11, the next two are kind of like business goals. Oops, I forgot to write that down. But goal number 11 was to complete at least 10 block sets per week. And I forgot to write it on this side of the page, but I did make 46 block sets this month. And goal number 12 was to post at least 3 YouTube, or average 3 YouTube videos per week on my channel. I did 14 videos on my channel in December, plus 1 on the Scrapping for Less channel. And then my last goal was to use up 1 kit, and I was hoping for using 1 a month, but it was just kind of at least to help me focus on using up kits, and I did not use any of those in December. So actually, let's cover December stats first back here. So I was trying to track the number of cards I made in 2020, and I did really good at the beginning of the year, but these last several months I've really struggled to actually write down the cards I made. So I made at least 132 cards this month. Those are the ones that I could actually like count and quantify, but there may have been some others that I made and just didn't record somewhere. I sent out 12 cards. My Christmas cards that I made this year, I ended up doing photo cards. And so the ones that I sent out were just like cards that I'd made maybe to some crafty friends, or just other cards that I've sent throughout the month. There's my 30 scrapbook pages, and I had a total of 15 videos that I did, and then my 46 block sets. So sticking to this side of the page, so for the whole year, I've made about 1,600 cards. If you add up what I actually wrote down, it was 1,597 cards. Sent out or donated 953 cards, and that's just, cards that I may have sent out to people during the month, cards I donated to Cards for Soldiers or to my dad's nursing home. I made 146 scrapbook pages. I did 196 videos and created at least 569 blocks, because there were a couple busy months there where I forgot to actually write down what I did. So going back to this side and looking back at the individual goals, so to use up 1 paper pad each month, I ended up using 21 pads or collections in 2020. And like, this is actually my stash of pads, kits that I used up. I know some people laugh because I saved them, but it's just kind of nice to see like what I've used throughout the year, and I always track what I made with them. And I just stick them in a file folder in my file drawer. At some point, I'm sure I'll have to purge, but it's just kind of nice to look back. And even when I pulled those back, I even looked back at what I did in 2019, just kind of as a reminder, as a refresher. So I almost averaged about 2 pads a month, but that includes the 6x6 pads or the smaller pads that I did for Smash That Small Paper Pad, as well as just my normal pad projects that I do throughout the year that are 12x12. I used up about 46 packs of embellishments this year and 87 sticker sheets, which seems like a lot. But a lot of those were like partials, there were like a couple stickers left on the sticker sheets. And you would think that after pulling out like 130 things from my stash that there would be more room, and there's not. Like, I feel like I don't even notice a dent in my sticker stash, which is insane. For 10 on the 10th, I made 219 cards, and I did 146 scrapbook pages. And then I ended up using up 10 kits this year, and those were the Scrapping for Less kits that I've had from. Most of them were for years past. A couple of them were from the current year that I did finish off. And there's a couple other things that I've kind of learned or discovered about myself that I thought I would share real quick. The cleaning goal for me was helpful. I kind of changed my mentality about it halfway throughout the year, because to me, when I say I'm going to clean, I dust and I vacuum and, not just straighten, but it got to the point throughout the year where I realized, okay, I don't have to dust every single time, or vacuum every single time, just because I may have cleaned half my studio at one point, half my studio at the other point, or my girls hadn't cleaned theirs, but I cleaned mine, and then the girls cleaned later, and by the time they cleaned theirs, mine was a mess again. So I just kind of as long as I straightened up and got myself reorganized, I counted that as a clean. But it was nice to have that on my radar, because otherwise, if I wasn't accountable for it, then stuff would just go for months and pile up. So I am glad that I made that goal. And I am super glad that I made up using embellishments, the stickers and embellishments, a priority this year, because I think if I were to continue on this route for years, and I haven't bought a ton of embellishments this year, most of the ones that I got came from my Echo Park boxes, or there's a few that I may have picked up on sale or clearance at Hobby Lobby, but I feel like if I could continue this route, then I could really make a dent in my embellishment stash. The other thing I've learned is that most of the scrapbook pages I did this year focused on the pad projects that I was working on, and that's kind of why I got behind on getting the 2012 and the 13 pads done. So going forward, I need to make scrapbooking more of its own priority, and not just yes, if I can incorporate them into a pad project, that's great, but I also need to work on making sure I focus on the pages themselves and just getting the pictures on the pages. The other thing I learned about myself is that I'm horrible at taking the time to write down the number of cards I make every day or each day. I did good for a while trying to record it in my planner, and that worked until about August, and then things got busy in September on, and I just stopped writing them down. So I need to find a better way of recording that if that's something I want to continue. And the other thing I kind of made a priority this year is for my 10 on the 10th cards, I focused on using loose paper from my stash. So that was, that would have been loose Christmas papers from my stash. So I have really made a dent in my loose paper stash for Christmas and winter. So that was huge. And that is something I'm going to try and continue to do going forward in 2021, unless it happens to fit with a pad project that I'm working on, if it's a Christmas pad. But most of the year I will try and work through my loose paper stash for the 10 on the 10. So that's how December went. That's how my year turned out. And that's just a few notes that I've learned either about my goals or myself this year, and some things that I may need to work on going forward. So this collaboration is not continuing next year as a collaboration, but it is going to be just a hashtag that if you want to play along, you would just use the hashtag crafty goals, and then people can find you and find your goals that way. I have set some crafty goals for myself, along with some other goals for myself in 2021 again, and I am going to share those kind of along with a channel update, things to look for this year. That video will be coming out soon, hopefully this coming week, so you can look for that. But I've loved having the goals, and being accountable to them has been a huge asset to me. Definitely makes me work harder towards them and keeps them in front of me more often. So if you guys set some crafty goals for yourself in 2020, I hope you did well, and I hope you are happy with your progress. And if you didn't set them for 2020, maybe it's something you can think about for 2021, because I definitely encourage you to do that. Thank you guys so much for your time today. Happy New Year. Hope 2021 is amazing for everyone, or at least better than 2020 for most. But thank you guys, and thanks for following me along on my goal journey for this year, and for all of your love and support. And I hope you're all having a crafty day.